Have you ever felt lost adrift in the sea of expectations, like a tiny boat tossed about by the waves, searching for direction, longing for the sense of belonging? For years, I chased external validation, believing that success and approval held the keys to happiness. I strived to meet the expectations of others, molding myself into the person I thought I should be, and silenced me in the voice, ignoring the whispers of my heart. But deep down, a nagging feeling persisted, a sense of unease, a knowing that I was living out of alignment with my true self. The harder I tried to fit in, the more disconnected I felt. The constant pressure to conform left me feeling exhausted and unfulfilled. I had achieved what I desired, yet a profound emptiness lingered within. It was in the quiet moments, away from the noise of the world, that I began to question everything. Who was I beneath the carefully constructed facade? What truly mattered to me? These questions swirled in my mind, demanding answers. I realized that I had spent so much time seeking validation from others that I had lost sight of my own values, my own dream. Like a seed buried deep within the earth, my true self yearned to break free. I knew I couldn't keep living a lie, pretending to be someone I wasn't. It was time to embark on a journey of self-discovery, to peel back the layers and rediscover the essence of who I was meant to be. This journey wouldn't be easy. It would require courage, vulnerability, and a willingness to confront my deepest fears. But I was ready to face the unknown, to embrace the maze and beautiful process of becoming whole. The wake-up call came in the form of a breakdown. I was at a point in my life where everything seemed perfect on the surface, yet I felt utterly lost and broken inside. The constant pressure to maintain a facade of perfection had taken its toll. My mental and emotional health deteriorated, and I found myself spiraling into a dark abyss. It was during this time of immense pain and despair that I realized I couldn't keep living this way. I needed to make a change. I sought professional help, starting therapy to address the underlying issues that had led me astray. Through therapy, I began to understand the root of my insecurities and the patterns that kept me stuck. I learned about the importance of self-compassion, of treating myself with the same kindness and understanding I would offer a dear friend. It was a slow and arduous process, but with each session, I peeled back another layer, revealing a bit more of the authentic me. I began to challenge the negative self-talk that had plagued me for years, replacing it with affirmations of self-love and acceptance. The journey to self-discovery is not linear. There were days when I felt strong and capable, and then there were days when I wanted to crawl back into the comfort of my old patterns. But I learned to embrace the ups and downs, knowing that each experience was an opportunity for growth. I started making small changes in my life, prioritizing my well-being over external validation. I set boundaries, learned to say no to things that drained my energy, and surrounded myself with people who supported my journey. Fear had been a constant companion throughout my life, holding me back from pursuing my dreams and living authentically. I was afraid of failure, of judgment, of not being good enough. But I knew that in order to rediscover myself, I needed to confront my fears head-on. One of my biggest fears was the fear of vulnerability. I had always believed that vulnerability was a sign of weakness, something to be avoided at all costs. But through my research and personal experiences, I learned that vulnerability is actually our greatest strength. It is the birthplace of connection, creativity, and joy. I started small, sharing my story with trusted friends and family members. To my surprise, I was met with empathy and understanding. Their support gave me the courage to open up even more, to let down my guard and show the world my true self. I began to express myself creatively through writing, painting, and dancing. These outlets allowed me to tap into a part of myself that I had long suppressed. Embracing vulnerability was like stepping into the unknown, but it was also incredibly liberating. As I allowed myself to be seen, truly seen, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. I realized that my fears, while real, had held me captive for far too long. It was time to break free from their grip and embrace the freedom that came with living authentically. Brené Brown, in her book, says, "Vulnerability is not weakness, it's our greatest measure of courage." This resonated deeply with me. I had to be courageous to show up as myself, imperfections and all. I began to share my writing online, my heart pounding with each post. The fear of judgment was still there, lurking in the shadows, but I refused to let it control me. To my amazement, people connected with my words. They saw themselves in my stories, in my struggles and triumphs. I realized that by embracing my vulnerability, I was creating space for others to do the same. We are all perfectly imperfect, and it is in our shared humanity that we find connection and belonging. This realization was life-changing. I stopped comparing myself to others and started celebrating my unique gifts. I embraced my quirks and imperfections, recognizing that they were what made me, me. Section 5. The healing power of connection. As I opened myself up to vulnerability, I discovered the transformative power of connection. For years, I had built walls around myself, afraid to let anyone in. I believed that I had to be strong and independent, that asking for help was a sign of weakness. But through my journey, I learned that true strength lies in our ability to connect with others, to allow ourselves be seen and supported. I reached out to friends, family, and even strangers, sharing my story and asking for help when I needed it. To my surprise, I found the community of the people who had experienced similar struggles, who understood the pain of feeling lost and alone. Together, we created a safe space to be vulnerable, to support each other, and to celebrate our journey of self-discovery. Through these connections, I learned that I was not alone in my struggles. We all face challenges, we all experience pain and heartbreak, but it is through sharing our stories and supporting each other that we find healing and hope. Section 6. Letting go of perfection. Perfectionism had been a constant companion, whispering lies in my ear and holding me back from experiencing true joy. I strived for flawlessness in all areas of my life, from my work to my relationships to my appearance. But the pursuit of perfection was exhausting and ultimately unattainable. It kept me stuck in a cycle of self-criticism and never feeling good enough. Through therapy and self-reflection, I began to understand that perfectionism was a form of self-protection, a way to avoid vulnerability and the possibility of failure. I realized that by letting go of perfection, I could embrace the beauty of imperfection, both in myself and others. I started to focus on progress over perfection, celebrating small victories along the way. I learned to embrace my mistakes as opportunities for growth and to view setbacks as stepping stones on my journey. Letting go of perfection allowed me to experience a level of freedom and joy that I had never thought possible. I was no longer bound by the need to please others or to live up to unrealistic expectations. I was free to be myself, imperfections and all. Section 7. Finding my voice. For years, I had silenced my own voice, afraid to speak my truth or share my thoughts and feelings. I had learned to dim my light, to make myself smaller so as not to outshine others or rock the boat. But through my journey of self-discovery, I realized that my voice mattered. I had something valuable to share with the world, and it was time to let my voice be heard. It started small, with sharing my writing online and speaking up more in my personal relationships. With each time I spoke my truth, I felt a surge of empowerment. I realized that my voice had the power to inspire, to connect, and to make a difference in the world. I began to use my voice to advocate for causes I believed in, to speak out against injustice, and to share my story with the hope of inspiring others. Finding my voice was like unlocking a part of myself that had been dormant for far too long. It was a gift, and I was determined to use it to make a positive impact on the world. As I embraced my true self, I discovered the profound joy of authenticity. For the first time in my life, I felt comfortable in my own skin. I no longer felt the need to pretend to be someone I wasn't, or to conform to societal expectations. I was free to be myself, quirks and all, and it was liberating. Authenticity became my guiding principle in all areas of my life. I surrounded myself with people who loved and accepted me for who I was, not who they wanted me to be. I pursued work that aligned with my values and passions, work that brought me joy and fulfillment. I expressed myself creatively, without fear of judgment or criticism. Living authentically allowed me to experience a level of happiness and peace that I had never thought possible. I realized that true happiness comes not from external validation or achievements, but from within, from living in alignment with our true selves. Rediscovering myself was not a destination but a journey, an ongoing process of growth and evolution. It required me to be present, to listen to my intuition, and to make choices that aligned with my values and aspirations. I learned to trust myself, to believe in my own abilities, and to pursue my dreams with passion and determination. I surrounded myself with people who supported my journey, who cheered me on, and who held space for me when I stumbled. I made a commitment to prioritize my well-being, to nurture my mind, body, and spirit. I practiced self-care, engaged in activities that brought me joy, and set healthy boundaries to protect my energy and time. Living a life true to myself meant honoring my authentic self, embracing my imperfections, and showing up in the world with courage and vulnerability. The journey of self-discovery is not a linear path. There will be ups and downs, twists and turns, moments of doubt and uncertainty. But it is in these moments that we have the opportunity to learn and grow the most. When we embrace the messy and beautiful process of becoming, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities. We learn to trust ourselves, to honor our intuition, and to make choices that align with our highest good. The journey of self-discovery is a lifelong adventure, and it is one that is worth taking. It is through this journey that we discover our true potential, our purpose, and our place in the world. Thank you for joining me on this journey of rediscovering myself. It is my hope that by sharing my story, I have inspired you to embark on your own journey of self-discovery. Remember, you are worthy of love, belonging, and joy. Embrace your authentic self, imperfections and all. Trust your intuition, and never be afraid to ask for help along the way. The world needs your unique gifts and talents. Go out there and shine your light. Please like and subscribe to this channel. Also, you may discover more at leroyabrown.ca. If you are interested in learning more about self-discovery and personal growth, I encourage you to explore the work of Brené Brown, Elizabeth Gilbert, and Glennon Doyle. Their writing has been instrumental in my own journey, and I believe it can be for you as well.